for the RBI would remain unchanged. CPI combined. The upper tolerance limit is 6% and the lower tolerance limit is 2%. So it is between 6 to 2%. So why it is important? It is important because India moved to an inflation target based monetary policy in 2015. Similar to other developed countries, the inflation rate forecast has appearing on the formulation of interest rates and affects other parameters like the currency exchange rate and controlling monetary supply growth. So this methodology provides that the central bank has the visibility and the time to alter and adjust its policy to attain the targeted inflation levels over medium terms. So what is the RBI role here? So RBI suggests a continuance of 4% target with a flexible tolerance limit of 2%. Why it was? Because the upper tolerance limit is consistent with the experience in other countries that have a larger share of food items in consumer price inflation indices. Now it is observed that the inflation level beyond prospects. So what is the concern here? Concern is basically raising inflation target to 5% with a 2% tolerance limit would make RBI monetary policy and the government fiscal policy non-reactive to arrest inflation even if the retail price increased beyond 6%. So this can create concern for the consumer as in the times of pandemic, higher inflation is not sustainable given the rising unemployed scenario. So RBI even demanded the center and the states to reduce the tax levied on the fuels as a price for the petrols which have crossed 100 in some states. So oil price increased the retail inflation and could breach the tolerance limit set for the RBI Monetary Policy Committee which was set up in 2015. Now we are having another account for economic and it is related to GST. So GST on fuel. Currently petroleum is not under the GST ambit. Same excise and other duties are applicable to the petrol. So the recent rise in crude oil price raised the demand for including petrol and diesel under the GST regime. But including these GST would not reduce the price as the maximum rate for this product is 28%. Subsuming petrol and diesel in GST would be decided by the GST Council and the price can be lowered if the lowering the revenue that accrue to both the center and the states on the sale of these products. So what is the current scenario here? So current scenario is basically that presently both the center and the states earn about 5.5 lakh crores by revenue from petrol and diesel and the prices cannot be lowered unless there is a widespread tax cuts both by the center and the state itself. So what they want to say here is that petrol, the price cannot be lowered unless there is a widespread tax cuts by both center and states. Means they are charging more than 50. We have another point here. The center and the state tax put together 55% of the retail price of the petrol and diesel respectively. So they are alone taking more than 50% of the tax rate on diesel and petrol. So this implies that around 135% and 116% of the base price of the two products are accrued as taxes. So 135% and 116% of the base price of the two products are accrued as taxes. So the center's component on petrol and diesel is around 36% of the retail price. So while the state's component varies from 28% diesel to 28% petrol, so the tax raised from the sale of these goods from a part of a divisible pool of taxes, of which 41% goes to the states. The remaining portion is collected in the form of agriculture infrastructure cess and road infrastructure since used for their development. basically for infrastructure, agriculture infrastructure development and road infrastructure development, and these two cess are to be collected by the government. So what is the analysis here? Analysis is that the fuel, oil and liquor being demerit goods and almost universally subject to a dual levy by countries that implement GST on VAT system. So what they wants to say here is that fuel, oil and liquor being demerits goods are almost universally subjected to a dual levy by countries that implement GST on VAT system. The levy is mixture of GST at a fixed percentage of the price that qualifies for the credit and a fixed amount or percentage of that price is not credible and outside the GST. So basically they were saying that two GST rates has to be applicable over that product. One is GST and other is other type of a tax. So taxes are levied on these products primarily to discourage the consumption of environmental discarding fossil fuel and to raise revenue to fund infrastructure. So basically government wants to discourage here this consumption of fuel. So why they want to discourage us? Because of the environment. So 28% of the GST on the base price of the petrol and diesel goods fetch the government rupees 5% on petrol, rupees 5 rupees on petrol and 5 rupees on diesel against 32 rupees and 31 rupees respectively. So here is a drastic change if we implement GST on the diesel. So they are now getting more than 6 times of the amount which they can get after implementing of the GST on fuel. So to the central alone and 20 rupees, okay, this is the center, and for the state it can be a loss of 4 times or 3 to 4 times here. So this would amount to a revenue loss of about 3 lakh crore on petrol and 1.1 lakh crore on diesel to the center and the states at the current volumes. Now we have another article related to economy only. It is millet based product. So United Nations has recently said that year 2023 as the International Year of Millets. India, Nigeria, largest producer of millets in the world, accounting to more than 55% of the global production. For many years, India was a major producer of millets, but in recent years, the production has increased dramatically. In African countries, in India, pearl millet is the fourth most widely cultivated food crop after rice, wheat, and maize. They are usually grown by the small and marginal farmer on dry, mountainous, tribal, and refined areas, and also good for even it needs lesser amount of water, and it's an advantage of this that it is low fire and mountainous tribal can grow such kind of a product here. So they have shorter cultivation cycle and are less cost intensive. So less cost intensive and also shorter cultivation cycle are the advantage of this millets. So millets are not water or input intensive. It makes them sustainable strategy for addressing climate change and building agri-resilient food system. So increase in the consumer demand for ultra-processed and ready-to-eat products are high in sodium, sugar and trans fats. Also, as has also contributed to the loss in the demands of millets in both rural and urban areas. So this results in the double burden of the mothers and the children suffering from micronutrients deficiencies and prevalence of diabetes and obesity. So millets have a very low glycemic index, and so in a country such as India has a high incidence of diabetic, millets can act as a good source of foods. So what is the government initiative here? So Government Ministry of Agriculture launched a 600 crore scheme to increase the area under production and sale of nutri-cereals by providing seed kits and input to farmers building value change through farmer producer organization and supporting their marketing. So, the Ministry of Women and Child Development and the Ministry of Agriculture are collaborating to set up Nutri Gardens, promote research on intralinkage between crop diversity and dietary diversity, and generate consumer demand for Nutri cereals.